Missing quite a few players, but Iheanacho will be up there along with Onazi, who's going to be wearing the captain's armband in the Arsenal product, Alex Iwobi. Keep an eye on Elderson Echiejile out at that left back spot. And as far as South Africa and Stuart Baxter go, 17 straight without defeat, 8 of those draws, though. It will be Zwane in the attack, and we'll find out how that goes. Off to Uyo and all the action.
It's down to business. And we're underway. Nigeria, of course, in their traditional all green. South Africans all in yellow today. Today's referee, Youssef Esrairi of Tunisia. His assistants, compatriots Anwar Himila and Yamin Malulchi. Well, can South Africa shrug off those poor historic performances against the Nigerians, get themselves off to a winning start? Stay with us and find out. Fairly humid late afternoon in Uyo. About 28 degrees or so at the start of play. Pretty humid. Just the slightest of breezes. Oh, Super Eagles rule the game, reads the poster. Just over a minute in. As I say, more than 600 kilometers away, both from Abuja and Lagos. It's the capital of the oil-producing state of Akwa Ibom. A little bit of a geographical pointer to you. Little in the way of footballing pointers in these opening 2 minutes. The sides just psyching each other out. South Africa just starting to come under pressure here as the Nigerians look to find their game. A push there on Abdullahi Sheyu. Well, South Africa, like the Nigerians, failed to make it to AFCON 17 under their former coach Ephraim Mashaba. Hence the phone call to Stuart Baxter to come and reprise the work he started in 2004. Much water has flowed under the bridge since then, of course. Break off as the Nigerians break down the left, but he will be a bit of a chase on there. Wins the corner nonetheless from the left. Taken by Etebo. Nigeria now cranking up the early pressure. So corner again from Etebo. Well, was William Ekong went up for the header, didn't really get the meat on it. The man from Belgian side Ghent. We have 3 English Premier League starters in this Nigerian side this afternoon. Wilfred Ndidi, of course, midfielder from Leicester. Kelechi Iheanacho of Manchester City up front. And also up front, Alex Iwobi of Arsenal. South African starting 11, all home-based, save for forward Anthony Tokelo, who plays his football in Turkey. with Genkler Bidliji. And apologies to Turks for my not particularly accurate Turkish pronunciation, no doubt. That's a language I'm afraid I don't know. So the South Africans sticking with homegrown men for the most part. Nigeria's goalkeeper, Daniel Akpeyi, is actually based in South Africa with Chippa United. Can he put one over his adopted country this afternoon? We shall have to see. We've had 5 minutes. Nigeria 0, South Africa 0. In this Group E encounter. Nigerians look to build from deep with Sheyu Abdullahi. Plays his football in Cyprus with Almathosis. Now down the right, I beg your pardon, Simon Moses. Well, Iheanacho really. It's a mark of a player who's had a rather long season in the English Premier League. He was very slow to that one. A long, rather aimless ball played forward is cut out. The Nigerians bring it away with Ekong. Skipper Eddie Ogenyi called to his feet. Etebo plays it forward now, looking for the number 40. Well, it was too long, overhit for Iheanacho. Good idea, but needed to float it in a bit closer to the Manchester City striker's feet. Instead, an easy pickup for Kaizer Chiefs goalkeeper Itumeleng. Well, also in this group, Libya and the Seychelles, both very much to make up the numbers, one would assume. But last night in Cairo, Libya dispatched Seychelles 5-1. So the Libyans off to a good start. The Seychelles are ultra minnows. You can only beat what's put in front of you. And the Libyans did so. Without further ado, last night. Well, of course, with World Cup qualifiers taking centre stage over the coming months, the next CAN 19 qualifiers will be some months away, next March. South Africa will be having a double header with Libya, while the Nigerians will do the same against the Seychelles. And anything less than 6 points on the board for Nigeria in those two games would be a major shock. But one should imagine they will come through both of those encounters fairly comfortably. Having to work here, though. They break down the right with Sheyu Abdullahi. Now, Simon Moses. Abdullahi in support. Well, South Africa clear their lines through Dean Furman of Supersports. There's a corner which Iheanacho will take. We've had 9 minutes, goalless between Nigeria and South Africa. Nigerian hosts now being urged to make the most of this corner from the right. Iheanacho lofts it in, eludes everybody. A throw to the South Africans. It was 1957 that this tournament began. A very mini manifestation of it was in those days. Egypt seeing off Ethiopia, Sudan being the only other participants back then. Sudan indeed were the hosts on that occasion. And the Nigerians to build deep with Etebo. Flick forward. And, oh, well, should have kept that down. Ndidi, the Leicester midfielder, just thumping that high and wide. Well, the Nigerians starting to move through the gears. Just flick forward, they headed out. And then, well, he brought it down, but got his foot well under it, Ndidi. The chance goes begging. South Africa now have a throw midway inside the Nigerian half. Left flank. Joseph Tebogo will take it from Mamelodi Sundowns. Zwane having to play it back, and indeed now it's all the way back with the keeper, Itumeleng. Sheyu lofts a ball in there. Two men can chase. Moses is one of them. He loses out. Bustling Lorenzo Kagan. Fred side Montpellier loses out there. Now bursting into the area. It's cut out. Well, he's claiming handball as Etebo. Officials are not interested. It will be a corner, which Etebo will take. A thrilling burst into the area, but came to little. So another corner from the right. Oh, not a particularly convincing effort at a claim by Itumeleng there, but South Africa managing to clear their lines. Only as far as Abdullahi. Well, Simon just trying to float that in, but nobody read it. Now, nice ball through from Kagan, who now cuts in on the left into the box, but it's cleared emphatically by Ekong for a South African corner. Nice back heel there from Vilakazi Sibusiso. Ekong dealt with Kagan at the expense of a corner, which Kagan himself will take from the left flank. Akpeyi just organising his back four. The Nigerian goal. Here is the delivery, left-footed from Kagan. It's cleared only as far as Tebogo. Nigerians are able to bring the ball away with Ndidi. Swapping the hurly-burly of the Premier League and the Champions League with Leicester for this qualifier. Long season for him. Now long ball forward. Well, that was well read as Iwobi burst in. I think Furman who got the clearance in the end. Well, we've passed the quarter-hour mark. We're goalless here. If you're just tuning in, warm welcome. Nigeria 0, South Africa 0 in the CAN 19 qualifying Group E. Just getting underway for these two sides. Managing to squeeze all of this in between World Cup qualifiers and long league seasons. As I say, the Nigerian side, well, just a quick run down there. 11, the goalkeeper, Daniel Akpeyi, based in South Africa with Chipper. Fullback, Chidozie Awaziem from Porto. Echiejile Elderson playing in Gijón in Spain. Fellow defender Paul Ekong playing in Ghent in Belgium. And of course Ndidi at Leicester. Fellow midfielder Peter Etebo in Firenze in Portugal. Sheyu has been busy so far. Defence and deep midfield. He's with Anathosis in Cyprus. Iheanacho, of course, is at Manchester City. Moses Simon at Ghent, as is Ekong. And then on Onazi, Eddie at Trabzonspor in Turkey, and Alex Iwobi at Arsenal. So, a much-travelled squad, unlike the South African one. There'll be some weary legs in that Nigerian squad. Nonetheless, donning the national shirt so often injects that extra bit of pride in the chest. Nigeria in particular with a proud tradition. The Super Eagles, of course, enjoyed their purple patch really in the mid-1990s with getting to the second round of the World Cup. One of their more notable international achievements. Back in 1994. It's a dim memory now, but I remember Roberto Baggio scoring twice for Italy to deny Nigeria a place in the quarterfinals of the 1994 World Cup in the United States. Still, quarterfinals a bridge too far for African sides to date. Nigeria dared to dream after Emmanuel Amunike put them ahead in that match before Baggio turned things around. course, Nigeria also won the Olympic crown in the States in 1996, so the USA proving to be a venue that certainly met with their footballing favour in the mid-90s. Knocked out Mexico, Brazil, Argentina along the way. Game just lacking a little inspiration these opening 20 minutes. Stalemate. The South Africans standing firm. Is Group E, just starting off today, match day 1. Libya beating the Seychelles last night in Egypt. Libya, of course, still unable to play home games because of the security situation, and well, the South African defence really all at sea there, and Etebo should have done far better, the Ferenzi man. Goes down holding his head. South Africans were all at sea there, and it was Iheanacho who played the ball across to Etebo, and he just snatched at it. Left-footed, wide it goes. We're halfway through this first half. Nigeria frustrated in their attempts to break the deadlock. South Africa now breaking quickly down the right flank. Oh, Timber wants the corner. He won't get it, and it is Daniel Akpeyi who will take his kick for Nigeria. Long's headed on by Ndidi. Etebo trying to thread it through, but it's Bongani who will clear up. Tries to set Tokelo away. It's just to retrieve it. He in turn tried to find Temba. Is thwarted, and now well, that's far too far ahead of the chasing Iheanacho. He's willing to run, but Itumeleng claims that in the South African goal, and the visitors come away with Bongani. Only the group winners, of course, are automatically guaranteed a place in the final tournament. Neither of these sides will want to bet on being one of the top 3 runners-up. Nigerians have a throw-in. Taken quickly. Now out. Well, it's pass floated in there, really. Ekong sending it right out to the left flank. Elderson now. go backwards a little bit. Ekong trying to set Moses Simon away. Clumsy challenge there. Stuart Baxter trying to get this South African side into shape. Elderson there. A foul on Timber. Past the 25-minute mark. Nigeria. Well, there we have it. 3 shots on goal, but all of them rather scrappy efforts, if the truth be known. And for all their greater possession, the Nigerians are struggling to find top gear here. It's a dogged rival. Out on the right is Abdullahi. Well, once again, the appeal for hands, but that one somewhat ambitious in my view. Have a free kick. That infringement was correctly seen by Yusuf Esrai, today's man in black. Nigeria have a free kick some 30 metres out. Tumaleng organising his wall. Ndidi also takes his place in the wall. There's a potential decoy. Shaping up to take it is Moses Simon. To the wall, cleared towards the halfway line, and it's all the way back with Nigerian keeper Akpeyi. Abdullahi again trying to spark some life into the Nigerian engine room. It's cleared by Dean Furman. South Africa just relying on the occasional counter-attack at this stage. Just wanted to draw any early sting from their hosts. That they have done. Throw it now to the visitors with Etebo. Just a few yards down the touchline to Sibusiso. It's back with Etebo for another throw. Oh, well, Bongani took too long to bring that one down, and here go the Nigerians with Etebo. Lays it off. To Iwobi. Just on the left-hand edge of the box, plays it back in the cross. Well, the cross is aimed towards Moses. Awaziem picks it up. Lofty pass out to the left flank. Well, Iheanacho tried to anticipate the header, cut out. His elder son. Out on the left is Iwobi. Work to do, 2 men on him. Nigeria having to be patient. All the doors look locked at the moment, but who has the key? Nobody at the moment. Goal kick to the South Africans. We've had half an hour of this Africa Cup of Nations qualifier. Match day 1 in Group E. Nigeria 0, South Africa 0. Sides due to meet again in South Africa. I believe this one's early October. 12th of October. That's been penciled in for the return. Nigeria will want to have 3 points from this one on the board as insurance before heading off for that one. Both sides, of course, will be looking to pick up maximum points from their matches with Libya and Seychelles. A reminder that Libya saw off Seychelles 5-1 last night in Egypt. But we're looking at the 2 sides here who should finish 1 and 2. The key issue is in which order. Only the best 3 runners-up will go through to the finals, of course. Once again, too far ahead of Iheanacho to chase. A very cagey affair so far. Still awaiting a goal. Of course, there's plenty of action around the continent this weekend. Other opening round matches include Tunisia against Egypt. Egypt, of course, have won the title a record 7 times. Runners up to Cameroon in the final earlier this year. That one's in Group J. Group H, Ivory Coast, 2015 winners taking on Guinea. Of course, Ivory Coast this week remembering the former Newcastle fielder Sheyu, of course, died of a heart attack, shockingly, a few days ago in China. Haven't been called into the squad for the match against Guinea. But, well, had a few incidences of players dying in recent years. Thinking back to Marc-Vivien Foé, of course, a few years ago now in France, Cameroon star. Sheyu, the latest, just the age of 30, all-action midfielder. Ivory Coast, incidentally, go into that Group H game against Guinea, having lost a friendly 5-0 to Holland under their new coach, Mark Wilmots. Of course, even worse for Wilmots, being a Belgian, and not the best way to start his tenure by losing to his neighbours. Well, 48 teams spread over 12 groups, going for 16 places. It's a long road. And it's a winding one so far for these two sides. Neither side had periods of domination of this tournament. Just break off as well. Oh, and he had to, well, I wonder if that might have just crept in under the bar, actually. Had Itumeleng not pushed it over. Moses Simon there just cutting in on the left, just floating a ball towards Itumeleng's top right-hand corner. Keeper was alert to it, took no chances. The corner comes to nothing. So the goal kick for South Africa. Itumeleng is out for a throw, midway inside the Nigerian half. Stuart Baxter may be forgiven for feeling that this is a performance that's lacked a little bit of shape so far in these opening 40 minutes. Just holding on to Etebo a little over-enthusiastically there. Nigerians work it out to the left. Read inside now to Ndidi, Wilfred Ndidi of Leicester. Communication breaks down there, but Awaziem will retrieve it. Porto defender. In from the right flank, Abdoulaye Sheyu. Skipper Eddie Ugenyi. Ball just travels through to Itumeleng in the South African goal. 5 minutes to half time, 0-0. Nigeria, as I say, they've won 7 of 12 previous matchups against the South Africans. But having to work hard this evening. To Nigeria. Abdoulaye to take. finds Etebo. He switches that wide and forces Elderson to backtrack. He finds Ndidi. Now cut in. Too far out to unleash anything, and the move breaks down. Long ball through now. And the cross from the left is, well, oh, well, I was going to say it's well cut out. Oh, it's off the post. Well, when your luck's not in, dear me, I thought Daniel Akpeyi had claimed that one. He dropped it. And Sibusiso hitting the post. It's a fine run by Tebogo. Got the crossover. The keeper seemed to claim it. And it was Timber in the end. Sibusiso just behind him. Timber in the end, just flipping the ball goalwards. Came back off the post. Well, that was nearly a shocker for the Nigerians. Well worked move and a good cross from Tebogo. Really, Daniel Akpeyi at fault. He had the ball with both hands and just dropped it. As his body hit the turf. Moses again there. Often at the hub of Nigeria's most creative moves, but not so much there.
Oh, what a let-off that was
for Nigeria. Zwane of Mamelodi Sundowns hitting the post. He looks back at that, he'll think, how on earth did he miss the target? Well, a couple of centimetres would have made all the difference, but it remains 0-0. 100 seconds to go to half-time. Close were the South Africans there to taking the lead. I've confirmed that earlier on today, Cameroon, the hosts of the 2019 tournament, they saw off Morocco by 1-0. Cameroon, of course, are already qualified as hosts. That was in Group B. Morocco got to the quarterfinals earlier this year. Well, a couple of moments early, I make that, but Tunisian referee Youssef Esrairi says that will do, gentlemen.
Action from the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers continues on beIN Sports. Don't forget Ivory Coast against Guinea immediately following this one, plus Senegal will be in action. We'll also have Mali Gabon available on beIN Sports Connect. Our Ford Express continues.
Group winners going through, the three best runners up plus Cameroon. Well, Nigeria's last win in the tournament came in South Africa in 2013. Tunisian referee Youssef Esrairi gets us underway for this second period. Can either side break the deadlock? I'll just stay with us and find out. Nigeria having pretty much 2/3 of the possession in that opening half, but unable to do anything very concrete with it. Moses and Iheanacho, and in particular Etebo, all missing half chances. In fact, I'd make Etebo's a little bit more than a half chance. Iheanacho, the Manchester City striker, feeding him early on, and the pass, perhaps, to be fair to Etebo, slightly overhit, and he could only prod a left foot effort off balance, wide of the target. And of course, Zwane at the other end, coming so close to opening the scoring, hitting the post. Should have scored, but of course, it was Daniel Akpeyi dropping the ball almost at his feet. I think that the South African midfielder was almost too surprised and rather snatched at that effort. Nonetheless, that was perhaps a salutary lesson for the Nigerians. Hadn't been under much pressure from the outset, and then suddenly, just before the break, the width of a goal frame from going behind. Thread the ball through there. Abdullahi with Moses lurking. Well, looking back over the years of this tournament, the 60s largely belonged to Ghana. A couple of wins followed by a couple of final losses across the decade. And then in the 1970s, well, had 6 different winners, including Nigeria, also Ghana, Morocco, the old Zaire, Congo, Brazzaville and Sudan. Nigeria want their 4th crown. Corner is deep and headed away. Etebo's corner headed away there by Sibusiso. '80s, well, that saw Cameroon starting to dominate after Nigeria had won in 1980 on home soil. They followed a win for Ghana, then Cameroon, then Egypt, Cameroon again. And of course, Cameroon, the current holders. Nigeria, South Africa, unable to get through the qualifiers last time out. Looking back from Cameroon earlier this year. Ivory Coast winning it 2 years ago on penalties against Ghana. Nigeria before that in South Africa. Zambia shock win coming in Equatorial Guinea in 2012. And before that, an Egyptian treble, 2010, 2008, 2006. Pharaohs, of course, the most successful side in the competition's history. Well, 5 minutes into the second half here in Uyo, in the deep south of Nigeria. Capital of an oil-producing state. But nobody's struck footballing oil so far. Still a stalemate. Nigeria just happy to sit with a high line in the early stages of the second half, and the Nigerians really not managing to dig deep and find the top of their game. A fairly unimaginative showing from the hosts so far, to be honest. Well, South Africa have a trio of replacements already warming up. Stuart Baxter perhaps sending out a message that he has a couple of ideas in reserve. English-born manager, of course, brought back for a second spell in charge in April. Free kick now for the foul. Very quickly, but well, Alderson goes tumbling over his own feet. South Africa bring it away. Skipper Eddie Ogeni Onazi will set things going again, but the ball cleared by Tebogo. Tebogo's cross, of course, fine cross as well. After a great run down the left, from his cross that Zwane so nearly put the South Africans into the lead. Now they have a man over here, the number 6, Ramalwe. Oh, and it's a goal! Well, almost from nowhere. Well, the South Africans taking the lead, and it's Tokelo, the Turkish-based Tokelo, who gives Bafana the lead, and their contingent here just waited, in a fine header. Well, it was Zwane who sent the ball out to Ramalwe Mphahlele on the right, and he just delayed the cross just for a moment and then floated it up, and the header from Tokelo has South Africa into the lead, and that's exactly what this game needed. It's been such a cagey affair so far. But with 9 minutes gone in this second period, Tokelo Rantie scores for South Africa, and they lead 1-0. Well, the Bafana said they came here, Baxter saying that they wanted to put right this poor run that they've had. No wins in a dozen competitive matches against the Nigerians. He said they would come here without fear. And also knowing only too well that it was only 4 years ago that they lost out on home soil. It was Nigeria who went on to win that tournament in South Africa. Both sides have had a pretty lean spell in the time that's elapsed. But here, South Africa lead. And now the pressure is all on the Nigerians. Well, a fine header that was from Rantie. And just what this game needed. Well, Elderson is back on his feet. "11 minutes gone in the second half. Nigeria 0, South Africa 1. In the Africa Cup of Nations qualifying Group E. Now, well, that was well cut out. It was a fine run by Moses. He'll go again down the left. Got two men on him. And, well, ended up as a rather squash meat in the sandwich there. Bongani and Kagan, I think the men were on him. Bongani obstructing him in the final analysis. Down he went. So free kick out on the left for Nigeria, level with the penalty area. It's Etebo who will take it. Floated in. And it'll be a corner to the Nigerians. Etebo goes over to take it. Well, the complexion of the game has changed now. Nigeria now chasing the game. Oh. Wilfred Ndidi climbed high, but the header had no direction. Harmlessly drifts out. For a goal kick to South Africa. The Nigerians make a change. The number 18 is coming off. Alex Iwobi. And the man coming on is the number 7, Ahmed Musa. Had a rather unhappy time of it at Leicester last season. Can he find some form for the Super Eagles, who are having their wings clipped quite considerably so far, not least after that goal from Rantie. Etebo sends it out wide on the right to the substitute Musa. His attempted cross is blocked, out for a corner. The Leicester man will go and take it. Nigerians now will have to step up their game quite considerably. Elsewhere, hearing that Sierra Leone are leading Kenya. That's the latest. Well, that goal from Rantie really giving the game a shot in the arm for the neutral. And indeed, for South Africans watching wherever they may be. And, well, surely offside. Wilfred Ndidi racing in, but flag is up. Indeed, very clearly the offside trap working there for South Africa. South Africa managing to hold their lines quite admirably so far. Still feel that they should be put under far greater pressure. The Nigerians just seemingly regarding this match as just another game. They lose this one, the path to the finals once again might prove to be beyond them. Stuart Baxter's side leading Gernot Rohr's Nigeria by a goal to nil. We've passed the hour mark and the pressure is mounting on the hosts, who have failed to create anything really very clear cut, certainly in this second half. And their attacking dominance was somewhat partial in the opening period also. So Musa, the substitute, sent that towards his fellow Leicester man Ndidi, who was unable to get the header in. Well, that was a little bit more inventive from Moses. Who else? But, really needed to bend that one back to the edge of the 6-yard box, really, if he wasn't going to go for goal himself. Oh, Nigeria really rather shell-shocked by the goal from Rantie. 9 minutes into the second half now. The South Africans make a change. The man going off is number 10, Sibusiso. The man coming on, number 9, Cape Town City striker Lebogang Manyama. A striker for a striker. The South Africans clearly not ready to put up shop just yet. Now then, for the footballing historians among you, the first ever International Association football match was Scotland against England, as I'm sure you all know, back in 1872. The old enemy are playing again this afternoon. That one is 0-0. World Cup qualifying Group F. An hour or so gone in that one. Of course, sitting fairly pretty in their group. Of course, we've got a case of the old and the new. I'll just break up for a moment. There's a shot from distance. Well, it was worth a crack from Etebo. The old and the new. England, of course, their last title, famously back in 1966 in the World Cup. Have a chance to lift a world title tomorrow at under 20 level in South Korea, and taking on a new force in the shape of Venezuela. Venezuela, it's a glimmer of hope for a country struggling at the moment with political unrest, but I saw them 6 years ago now at a Copa America. They were quite impressive, and they'd come from nowhere to give the likes of Brazil a game in the Latin American Championship, Latin American equivalent of the CAN, of course, or African Nations Cup. So that's tomorrow, England-Venezuela. England-Scotland 0-0, the World Cup qualifier this afternoon. Here it is the Cup of Nations Group E qualifier, match day 1, and Nigeria are struggling and the fans are growing restless in Uyo. They have now just gone past the midway point of this second half, and they trail South Africa on home soil by a 0-0. Tokelo Rantie scoring 9 minutes after the break with a close-range header. Well-worked move. South Africa on the break, and it's played through, and there's nicely return. Well, a back heel, and well, that deserved a goal. That was a neat move, and Zwane once again finding that he can't quite find the target. So close there to a second. The back heel from Rantie, and then just fending inside. Right foot drive onto the outside of the right post. The second time he's hit the woodwork. And really, South Africa playing the percentages game admirably well. They're not dominating this match by any means, but they're doing enough. It's another change required for Nigeria. The number 14 coming off, it's Iheanacho, and Olarenwaju Ayobami is coming on. Austria Vienna striker. Iheanacho doesn't look particularly keen to come off, but come off he does. A Manchester City striker. So, how much can Olarenwaju boost the strike power of Nigeria, which has been somewhat lacking so far? And now, he's going to cut inside. Well, was he checked? Well, the referee says no, but Kagan was causing problems there. South Africa, well, a second goal would almost certainly finish things off for the hosts. Can Nigeria come up with the craft, the invention, and the staying power here? Really, they've had for all that they've had more possession, they hadn't really forced South Africa to hang on by their fingernails. There's been no really sustained spells of pressure. Some neat approach play and very little end product from Gernot Rohr's side. Well, they have a corner. Olarenwaju putting Etebo under pressure. Well, substitute Lebogang Manyama concedes the throw. Halfway inside the South Africa half. Ahmed Musa will take it. Headed away. It's an infringement. Push by Ekong. Now, well, there was a hand-to-man. Awaziem Chidozie grappling there, if grappling is the right word, with Kagan Lorenzo. I rather thought that looked like an infringement on first viewing. South Africa seem to be finding more and more energy as this game goes on. The Nigerians really have to step up the pressure. There's no choice now. 15 minutes to go. Time enough for an equaliser, but they wanted to go for a winning start here. Well, that one is too high from Ndidi. Wilfred Ndidi of Leicester City. And a few baffled faces in the stands. Nigeria have just not found top gear here. Well, man being stretchered off there, went down in the area just a moment ago, is Bongani. Just looking at that first effort against the woodwork from Zwane in the first half. He did it again just a few minutes ago. There it is, right foot effort, cannoning back off the stanchion. Well, had this been a stalemate, Nigeria might well have said, well, we'll have to go and get points in South Africa. But, well, that one's over the top as well. From Etebo. No faulting his effort. Missed a good chance in the first half. Dragged the left foot shot wide off balance. There, on the right foot. High. So as I was about to say, a draw, and what one must imagine will be 2 wins apiece against Libya and the Seychelles would have perhaps set Nigeria up to make sure that they would at least be one of the 3 best second-placed sides. Well, the crowd really getting behind their side there. South Africa just managing to clear their lines. South Africa's defence briefly loses its shape. They survive. So a draw would be worth something. A defeat, well, who knows? And a long distance effort there. Once again from Tebogo. Always the danger, of course, that a defeat and, well, a draw, possibly, and certainly a defeat in South Africa could well lead to Nigeria coming runners-up in the group and not being one of the best 3 in the 12 groups, in which case there would be no trip to Cameroon in 2 years' time for the Super Eagles. They have not reached the heights today, and if they're going to do so, they're going to take flight late in the day. They've got 11 minutes to rescue something from this game. South Africa leading 1-0. A goal scored on 54 minutes by Tokelo Anthony Rantie. A close-range header. Another change. Number 19 coming on for South Africa is Percy Muzitau, a midfielder from Mamelodi Sundowns. Nigerians just cannot find the space. And now, well, oh dear, oh dear. Well, I think that is going to be the end. The South Africans have something to celebrate. Really, well, Gernot Rohr looks disgusted, as well he might. A terrible goal to concede, and a terrible time to concede it, with just 10 minutes remaining. It's 2-0 to South Africa. Just pushed it round the keeper, and a quick left foot finish. Well, the through ball from Kagan Lorenzo beating everybody, and the substitute Percy Musitautis pushing it round the keeper and finishing it off. Slotting it past Daniel Akpeyi, who, for all that he plays for Chippa United in South Africa, you won't be feeling chipper with this scoreline. Nigeria 0, South Africa 2. South Africa will finally lay some ghosts to rest with a competitive win over Nigeria. It'll be the first time after 6 losses and 3 draws since 1992. All done and dusted surely now. The Nigerians really look decidedly unimpressed with this performance. The scoreline is unimpressive, but the performance too is unimpressive from Nigeria this evening. Well, sliding in there, looking for a third. Comes to nothing, but South Africa, it's very nearly job done. Well, Etebo, I say he's put in a lot of effort for the Nigerians in midfield, and he plays his football in Portugal with Rantie. Really somewhat shapeless performance this from Nigeria. At no time have they really put South Africa under concerted pressure, certainly in this second half. 60% possession they may have had, and 5 corners in the opening 45 minutes. But all they had to show for it was 3 half-hit efforts wide, and 1 header also off target. Well, the never-ending stream of substitutions goes on. Samuel Mabunda coming on for Kagan. All very well, in my view, having such a large number of substitutes to be able to field across the course of a modern game, but really, I think it interrupts the flow of play far too much these days. For an injury, fair enough, but it's become a tactic, really, over the years. Here comes yet another one. Moses coming off. Well, Moses goes off, and that's lights out, I would suggest, on this Nigerian performance. Victor comes on from Wolfsburg. He's not going to score twice in the 4 minutes and 30 seconds that remain. Nigeria, this will be a major blow to their hopes. Well, they will be fortunate, really, to have these upcoming games against the likes of Libya and the Seychelles, because really, those 4 games should put 12 points on the board. And then, well, who knows, a point in South Africa. That should theoretically be enough to give them one of the best 3 runner-up slots. But really, well, here we are, that missed clearance, really indicative of just the shoddy nature of this second half performance by Nigeria, as Tao once again goes after the ball. It barely come on when he scored the second goal. We are inside the last 3 minutes of normal time. Nigeria 0, South Africa 2. Rantie and Tao. 9 minutes into the second half, and with 9 minutes to go. And Nigeria will surely face a barrage of questions from the media tomorrow. This is not how the Nigerians expected to start off their AFCON 19 campaign, with a home defeat against their main rivals. For South Africa, well, the return of Baxter to the dugout really has given them a shot in the arm. And here goes, whoa, should have been 3-0. Leboyang Manyama had time to pick his spot. Instead, hoofed it over the bar. Well, Victor goes down. It'll be a free kick. Genoro. His side are on the way to a painful defeat. Well, that 2013 crown feels a long time ago. It's a free kick. We'll have another 4 minutes. Ekobo's effort is deflected. It will go out for a corner. Of course, there was, albeit going back some time now, a little bit of ill feeling between these two sides. Nigeria boycotted the Africa Cup of Nations a couple of decades ago in South Africa on security fears. Takes a deflection from Manyama. It was General Sani Abacha who was in charge at the time when political decision was made to keep Nigeria out of that '96 tournament. Led to a ramping down of diplomatic relations, I seem to recall. Of course, South Africa took full advantage of that particular absence by going on to win the trophy for the first time. Well, the 90 minutes are up, but we have an extra 4 on the clock. I rather feel that will merely prolong the agony for the crowd here in Uyo. That's a good catch for Itumeleng. At no time of the South African defence really had to put their collective shoulder to the wheel under sustained pressure. Just kept their heads throughout and increasingly gone on the attack. Rewarded for that policy with the opening goal on 54 minutes. From Rantie and then Tao's clincher just 9 minutes or so from the end. So it's going to be a winning start for South Africa. Stuart Baxter will be a happy man. Fairly undemonstrative throughout in the dugout. Occasionally venturing out onto the touchline as well. And the Tunisian referee Youssef Esrairi says that will do.
So the final 2-0, and in somewhat convincing fashion on the scoreboard. Tokelo Rantie, the Gensler Belihi man, with the opening goal. Our man of the match, brought to you by Ford. Go further. And South Africa opening up in their quest for the 2019 AFCON finals with a win on the road in Nigeria.